Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Hold your horses and let's stop taking it to the stupid. I'm calling it right now. David Morrell versus David Benavidez is a mismatch, like Jared Anderson versus Bakole. You got one guy who's been putting that work in, who's been sparring killers since he's been a little kid, and David Benavidez, who's, as a professional, has been out here whipping ass. He's qualified. Martin Bakole, let me tell y'all something. People didn't really know much about Bakole, at least boxing fans, but those professional fighters in the heavyweight division, they knew all about him. They know that Martin Bakole bringing that smoke, whipping asses in sparring. That's why when they made that fight with Bakole and Anderson, everybody, promoters, fighters, judges, the goddamn secret society, they were like, hold your horses. Jared Anderson, you about to get killed. No one can make sense of that because they said this is a horrible mismatch. But the money was so good, Bob Arum said he didn't want him to do it. But the money was so good, the guy made a fortune. Had to let him go and take the fight. And he got the shit beat out of him, but he got paid. And I think it's the same thing when you look at David Morrell. Now, I understand I get it. I watch boxing too. But I'm not a fan of any of these people. I don't have a favorite fighter. My two favorite fighters were Zab Judah and Chris Bird. They don't fight anymore. So as far as who wins with these guys, I don't give a shit. So I shoot it straight with no chaser, whether you like it or not. You want someone to talk only about one fighter you like? Wrong channel. Get your ass over there to somebody else. Let me tell you this. The amateur accolades matter. They do. But when you have someone like David Benavidez, who's been sparring champions since he's been 15 and holding his own, and he was fat and out of shape, and still giving them guys the work. There's a reason why he's performed the way he's performing as a pro. 15 years old sparring Triple G. 15 years old sparring Kelly Pavlik. 15 years old sparring Peter Quillen. Killers at the time. It's no surprise why he has the confidence he has and why he gets in the ring. At some point in time, he just takes off. Now, I've learned, and I do believe this to be true, I don't care what David Benavidez, what his dad says. That's like Devin Haney's dad. I don't want to hear shit he has to say. I don't really want to hear shit Devin has to say either because he's so full of shit. But there aren't many fighters when they talk where I'm like, this dude's being straight up. But when David Benavidez talks, you can tell he's not lying. You can tell he's being truthful. When he says before he went in and he fought Gvozdyk, both of his hands were hurt and he had just got a cut over his eye. His dad didn't want him to fight because he's like, nah, you're hurt. And David was like, nah, forget that. I can beat him. Let's not cancel the fight. He went in the fight, and for the most part, he controlled the fight. He did. Down the stretch, though, things got a little peculiar. 2 more rounds, I think Gvozdyk would have got David Benavidez out of there. That's just me. But up until that point, Benavidez was controlling the fight for sure, and he definitely won. But let's not act like David Morrell looked fantastic at 175. He got in there with somebody. He had some spots where he looked pretty good, but he was getting the beans put on him. Okay? He was getting some people, let me tell you this. Not one person said they felt David Benavidez, not one person said they felt that Gvozdyk got robbed against Benavidez. Not one person. A lot of people say they felt like David Morrell, the judges robbed the guy he fought, Rad or whatever the hell his name is. Said it felt like hot rod, like they robbed him. I don't know if I agree with that, but what I'll say is, these two coming together, I just think there's a difference, man. Like David Benavidez. This man throws a 5-punch combination. Just you and him in the ring. And you get hit 10 times. This man throws 5 punches and you get hit 10 times. That's how fast his hands are. You like, God damn, how many of them in the ring? And I think David Morrell is going to learn with the quickness. Especially after the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. What did I get myself into? Now, Morrell has long arms. He's got some power. He's sharp. Looks really good when he lets his combinations go. I just have a feeling, man, that shit is not gonna make a difference. And also, let's be real. Let's be real now, right? Because we're just having a conversation. I do think there's something's gonna come up. I just have a feeling. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Some shit with pads. I just have a feeling. And if it doesn't, then I don't think David Morrell is gonna look as spectacular as he looked. I just don't think as he's looked before that fight at 175. And if he comes in and he just walks through David Benavidez, I gotta throw the bullshit flag and say, hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. A 15-year-old in hard sparring with Peter Quillen, Pavlik, Triple G. And they can't discourage this man or break his will, but David Benavidez gets in there with David Morrell, and Morrell walks through him. Something ain't right. But that being said, I personally think it's a mismatch. And I think David Benavidez, by round 6, he gets Morrell up out of there. I do. I really do. The pro ranks are different from amateurs, man. And I just don't think that pop shot or that 2 punches or 3 punches, like David Morrell ain't putting together combinations like David Benavidez. David Benavidez is going to be coming at him. He's going to be letting his hands go. Could he run into something? He could. I just don't think so. Is Morrell better than David Andre? We don't know that. But I honestly think David Morrell should have and I ain't gonna say none of these guys are soft touches, but a softer touch than just going right into a fight with David Benavidez. But who knows how much money he's making? The bottom line is this: Demetrius Andrade would have been a good fight for Morrell, especially the way he looked coming off of that fight against Hot Rod. Caleb Plant would have been a good fight for Morrell. That guy Macombi would have been a good fight. Somebody else up at 170. He could have picked somebody from 168 like in Billy and bubbled him up to 175. I mean, he could have fought someone else. I just think going straight at a guy like David Benavidez. Well, one, you never get those you may not get that opportunity again, so fight him. But understand, you're probably not going to win that fight. And I have only heard, like really, a concentric few who think Morrell is going to beat Benavidez. 100% of us think that it's a good fight. 100% of us. But only a concentric few think Morrell's going to beat Benavidez. The majority are of the opinion that David Benavidez is going to get in there by round 4, 5, or 6. He's going to tranquilize David Morrell. But we got to wait and see. Because Morrell's a big boy. Cuban fighter, he can scrap. But what I think is going to happen is at some point in time, Benavidez is going to have Morrell looking like Bakole had Anderson. But hey, when the money is that good, you got to take it. Got to take it. I still, to this day, think Shakur Stevenson and his team was stupid to not fight Devin Haney when Devin Haney was trying to make that fight at 135. Devin Haney was looking ghoulish. At 135, he was looking like he was just going to die. Horrible. That weight cut was crazy. Just the idea that he was doing that to himself. It's crazy. Just the fact that they passed up on that in the fight, I think Shakur would have beat the shit out of Devin Haney too. I think Devin Haney would have got beaten, would have said, yeah, I stayed here too long, I should have moved up. He would have went up with a loss to 140. But, hey, opportunity missed. Deontay Wilder and AJ and those guys, Tyson Fury and AJ, opportunities missed, never fought. You know, big money was on the table. For some reason, it didn't happen. So sometimes those opportunities don't come back around. So I understand David Morrell and David Benavidez coming together to collide. But in my opinion, I just think David Morrell is just a little bit too ambitious. And he going to get the goddamn bing-bings put on him by David Benavidez. And I'm not surprised. And I do think it's a mismatch. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Hey, if the fight goes to a decision, he just happened to hit Benavidez with some shots and touch him up and bruise him up, okay. But if he comes in there and one-hitter quitters him, which neither one of them are one-hitter quitter type fighters, then I got to stop and say, okay, who the hell let Juan Manuel Marquez, Manny Pacquiao 4 take place here? Where's Angel Mimo Heredia at? Ain't no in the world David Morrell's supposed to come in there and one hitter quitter nobody. But let's wait and see how it plays out. I really don't understand why they made this fight. It's a good fight. I want to see it. I actually thought nobody was really interested based on how the two of them look debuting at 175, but now the fight's been announced and everything, everybody's interested again. But I just don't think David Morrell's gonna be. I think he's gonna be in over his head. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know what's sad is if he beats David Benavidez, everybody gonna call Benavidez a hype job. He was never a good fighter. Anyway, I can't wait to see this fight, man. It's gonna be a good one. Y'all keep cool, but I think this is gonna be a Jared Anderson Bakole type situation where at a point in time, that shit's gonna be all David Benavidez and Morrell. He's gonna get stopped. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.